So on to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Hi, Mary. Great to see you. Thanks, James, for I don't think sensational's ever been used in front of my name, but we'll take that. Right, Mary?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, first off, so great to see you. And I want to just talk to you a bit about what Gap's been doing and let you know that the mask store has actually been one of my favorite quarantine happy places. So thank you guys for adding in that lightness a little bit to this crazy time frame. Can we start off this session with some inspiration from your recent campaign? I think it really sets the tone for the conversation we're about to have about adding value, continued innovation, and really the importance of giving back during this time frame.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Do you want me to speak to the holiday campaign, or you want to? Yeah, okay. So
yeah, the dream, the future, and what you guys have been doing there, and that would be great.
So I just was listening to Brandon in the previous session. I mean, he had so many great insights, and one of the things that I'll just start off with that reiterates his point is the critical importance of understanding your brand positioning and your platform. So before I speak to holiday, I think I'll just say, I'm new to Gap. I've been in the brand for just over 6 or 7 months. And we started the work with really trying to understand the best way to position Gap to make it culturally relevant. And our platform of modern American optimism really started back in fall. So we came out in fall with our Stand United campaign for our brand, and for our kids' business, we did Be the Future. And if you think about when Gap was founded in 1969, it was a really big moment of cultural change and civic change at that point. It was founded as a denim store with music, and and Doris and Dawn Fisher wanted to do more than just sell clothes. So it was very about being a force for good. So our Stand United campaign was about unity, and it was that call for togetherness in a country that was really divided. And so we used this 1969 remake that the Youngbloods had done called Get Together, and Christina Train did an amazing, soulful new rendition of it. But we really wanted to lead with our brand values. So, so in the context of that divided country and the escalating social injustice and just the need in this pandemic to actually be, helping each other, we came out with Stand United. So holiday, how do you in the most transactional of all quarters? I mean, no pressure, but Q4 holiday. I mean, most retailers do, say, at least a third of their business in that time frame. We didn't want to walk away from that brand-driven platform. So one of the boldest moves we did was stay with that point of view, and still meet the challenge of selling an incredible array of product to, frankly, a bunch of new customers who we don't see all year long. It's the most widely, targeted area. So our Dream the Future campaign was really about hope and living in this idea of hope and empathy and helping each other.
Are we going to see a bit of that campaign?
I think we have video.
That would be great. And I'd love to hear a bit about how this actually campaign then took a life of its own.
Yeah, sure.
Going?
I can't tell if that was buffered or not, or if it played smoothly on my end, but I'm going to make a shameless plug for our YouTube channel. But no, really, I mean, I think you can see the conceptual idea there. How do you take the pulse? How do you take the cultural zeitgeist and the mood that's out there, and then your advertising is a way to connect with that and to be part of shaping that. And so this idea of this gallery where all these different people encounter each other, and like the cards with each of the words we gave to each of the cast members, and they're all either dancers or whatever. They were a community actually, as dancers. We weren't trying to do a dance video. We just wanted people to be able to act out these words and literally give them to each other. And so the energy was just the energy of each one of the emotions turned into great motion, and really just brought the whole thing together. So it was really fun to do.
And my understanding is like this campaign actually took on a life of its own. The outtakes became viral. There's this whole idea of spontaneity and innovation. Talk to us a little bit about how that happened.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't plan for, right?
Yeah, I think, we talk a lot at Gap about creating with audacity. And part of it is, yeah, you definitely do have to have a plan. As Brandon said, you have to have a plan, but you can't get so rigid about that plan that you miss these great opportunities. So first, I will just say that music has always been a creative thread for Gap. And so having Karen O from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs do this remake of Dream Baby Dream was opportunity number one. And then this group of dancers that we put together, they're such an incredible community. They're so supportive of each other. And they also just can't stop moving. They're just always like on the side. So in addition to doing this, we did a bunch of TikTok style videos just to kind of zoom in on some of the key product categories with this group. And also we did additional ones to add to it. But one of the most amazing moments of spontaneity was we have these two dancers who do a style of dancing called Memphis juking. It's Ron Miles and Lil Buck. And they just wanted to dance. And so at the end, we had some time left and we said, okay, just get it down, just get our hoodies. And we had Christian Weber, who was our director with a handheld. And we had this big crane there that was shooting, the overhead scenes. And it said, you guys want to do something? And they chose a song. They dropped Sonder Too Fast, that song. And for 5 minutes and 12 seconds, they completely unchoreographed, unplanned, unscheduled. They created this incredible piece of art. And like I said, there was improvised camera moves. There was no tracking or blocking or anything, just the crane and Christian on the handheld and, Miles and Buck. And it was amazing.
It's so cool to see when a creative process comes together like that and tapping into dance and movement. You talked a little bit about why dance and movement, but love to know more of like how that actually taps into the values of Gap.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just about, if you think back to our history, I mean, just on dance itself. And again, we weren't trying to create a dance video. This spontaneous thing that happened with Buck and Miles, it just had to happen. I mean, it couldn't be contained. But if you think way back to the day, Khaki Swing and Khaki Soul and all of these different, even any Lenny Kravitz and Sarah Jessica Parker. I mean, these are iconic moments. And there's this funny thing about Gap being on the white site too. So on the one hand, it's very iconic and it's very recognizable, and it's actually a way of branding the visuals. But the challenge then is, how do you stay creative on that framework? How do you bring a freshness to it? And then how do you integrate the product? Because when I say we're a brand-led, values-driven company, there's still a responsibility, an incredible responsibility to sell the product. So, hoodies are a fashion, well, they're everybody's core staple now in this time, but they're also they're having a fashion sort of trending moment right now. Fleece and colored fleece and the hookups and all of that are really, really a thing. So when we decided to, just drop the song and have the guys dance, it really did also showcase a very modern, fresh take on the hoodie with denim, the hoodie as a hookup. So what we did after we saw what we had, I mean, at the time, in the moment, it was so powerful. All the other dancers were watching. You could hear a pin drop. We saw it. We thought we would edit it. And then we knew we had something powerful. So we quickly, again, to Brandon's point, speed and agility, we repurposed some of our TV buy that we had. And we, in 3 days, got on to the NBA Finals, Game 4 and 5. And our PR team went out and pitched it. And we just really wanted the world to have this gift of this piece of performance art. And so we launched on the NBA game 4 in the finals and continued to run it on our NFL buy. And then virally, that dance community, they all just sort of kept posting it and reposting it. And then it sort of went its own sort of track in that way. So super exciting.
I don't always get behind the scenes on the creative process. And what I'm hearing from this is there's so much brand that the things that creative, sometimes we get so bland, and there's a lot of spontaneity and innovation that you guys have to adopt to make it what it is, especially during this time when we're all at home and dressing differently and shopping differently.
Yeah, I think we might have the video.
Segue into, let's talk a bit about how people are shopping differently. Oh, great.
I think we have the video on here. I can't tell if it's my Wi-Fi that's unstable.
We can chat about how people are shopping differently right now.
Sure.
Okay. I think it's mine.
Yeah, it looks like it loaded. It looks like they might have loaded the 5-minute version there. But yeah, so that was the long form that's on our YouTube channel. But we did cut a 30 of it for the NBA and the NFL. But yeah, it's super inspirational. I still watch it every couple of days just for the inspiration.
It's very powerful for sure. Can you hear me? I think I was breaking up. I was having internet issues.
I can hear you now. Yeah, you were sort of buffering there. You were freezing.
Great. I'm glad to hear that. Well, thank you for sharing that. I think it really helps us understand how you guys have tapped into the authenticity, and especially time frame where we're all dressing differently, shopping differently, and it's a great segue into talking about how people are shopping differently this year and what you guys are seeing at Gap in this crazy Q4 time period. That's so important.
Yeah, I mean, I think the trend started, happening earlier this year. Obviously, when we were forced to shut down our entire fleet of stores. I mean, that was right when I came on to be the CMO at Gap, and it was, to say unusual at the least, needing to then shift your marketing to be able to be, meeting the consumer mindset of that time. And so we started to see the first huge transition into the online space. So, I mean, online had been accelerating anyway, but that was it's like 10 years, 10 months worth of change. So, so we started to shift our marketing mix to support that and be able to meet the customer where they were shopping. And then in the summer, when the stores reopened, we still saw strong online business, but we then needed to be supportive of our customers who wanted to come to the stores and create safety measures so that they felt safe shopping in our environments. And, to be honest, I think everybody knows that was challenging in the mall space. Being in an outlet mall where it's more open, or outside malls or street locations was a little bit easier, but we really focused in on making our sales associates and our customers feel safe while they were shopping. And of course, the product category shifted. So we are a denim leader, and we are a denim destination, and people were not buying denim, they were buying sweats and active and those kinds of categories. So we saw a shift in our categories. So that meant we had to be agile and chase into those categories to be able to be more relevant. So that was another pivot where we were really going after the active space in particular, which is coming up next in our campaigns.
And how have you seen the shopping behavior change in terms of value expectations from brands, or product quality, customer service, just things that they're looking for that may be a little bit different besides just category differences in this world where I think today is the first day I've worn jeans and I don't know how long.
Are they really jeans or are they leggings?
They're jeggings. Let's not get that twisted. So
jeans. Yeah, no. So by the time we got to Q4, we had a 3-pronged strategy. It was to add value, remove friction, and then give back. So the adding value is, adding value does not necessarily just mean discounts. So we saw this pattern happening where consumers seem to be retrenching and then kind of focusing on a smaller, shorter list of brands that they could really trust and that they could rely on, and had the quality, the dependability, the reliability. And another thing we saw was a huge expansion in our kids and baby business. So parents really just wanting to, have their kids and dress their kids and try to maintain some semblance of, whether it was summer, the summer that we didn't have, or just, keeping them comfortable. And then, back to school. There wasn't a back to school. It was a back to learning, and there was a lot of virtual learning. So we just kept trying to be agile and learn as we went along. So the idea of adding value is about, giving them great quality product, creating that great customer experience, whether they shop with us in store or online. And then, it's about giving them good deals. I mean, this pandemic has caused an incredible recession. There's a lot of people who have lost their jobs. And so a good value and also a good deal is important. We actually partnered with Honey early on, about 3 years ago, and we're early adopters of your technology. And that's another way we do it, which is a very sort of surprise and delight opportunity where you're shopping, and then Honey also helps you do the work on the internet of creating that value. So we did design a marketing mix that has good value and good deals in it. Then the removing friction part is just all about buy online, pick up in store, curbside pickup that's contactless. I mean, we didn't even have that functionality. We launched it in August, so just in time for that Q3 timeframe. So being able to, pivot and execute everything about that, the technology, the marketing, the training of our staff. And then giving back was the third pillar of that strategy. So the give back has to do with that brand platform again. So when we were in Q3 with Stand United, it was about rock the vote and when we all vote and getting people out to vote and supporting those organizations. Now in Q4, with this idea of Dream the Future, we launched on Giving Tuesday, just a couple days ago, our TikTok dance challenge with some of this dance community that we were friends with, and then hopefully others, where for every dance video that's uploaded, support that challenge, we'll be giving $10 to Boys and Girls Club of America. And then we added on to that just a day or so on Giving Tuesday with this phenomenon that happened with Steve Kornacki on MSNBC. So I don't know if you guys have heard about Kornacki's khakis, but during the election, he was manning the electoral maps, and apparently he's been wearing our Gap modern khakis for years in the same color to work every day. He became sort of a chart throb, a map daddy on the internet, and got this huge following. And then we, tried to donate a lifetime supply of khakis to Kornacki, and we partnered with him to actually defer that donation to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, because they have a workforce readiness arm of their nonprofit. And so we'll be able to hook up a whole lot of high school graduates who are entering the workforce for the first time. So all this part of the back strategy.
And also speaks to the innovation and really just finding those moments, right? Like, how did we know what Steve Kornacki was wearing?
I think people might have always known. Who knew it would explode with such virality?
Right, exactly. And I think we may have a clip of that also. Do we have a clip of it? There we go.
Oh, did we lose Celiena?
Can you see? Can you see me?
There you are. Yeah, you're back.
Hello.
So that was funny. I mean, thanks.
The thing that I'm.
Oops, you're on mute again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What were you saying?
Oh, I just, thanks to Steve Kornacki, khakis are cool again. And so, just so much fun to be able to partner with a guy like that to make a difference for so many others. And so we're super excited about the workforce readiness program for the Boys and Girls Club. And the dance challenge goes on through December 31st. So there's plenty of time to get on there on the hashtag share the gap dream and learn the little TikTok moves and upload a video.
And get our khakis. I think this really profiles a lot of the innovation that Gap, as a brand that's been around for so long, has really been into during this time frame, and just really being open, connected to the authenticity of the brand, as well as what's going on in the sentiment of the time. And it's amazing to see what you guys have done. And as a great partner to Honey, we know that at this time frame, like you said, value is so important, and giving people reasons to make that little less guilty pleasure indulgent for themselves is also part of our happiness during this time. And you guys are really making that happen.
Yeah.
So I think to the Q&A, unless maybe there's anything else you want to leave us with.
I think just having a blast doing this work, and I feel really excited about continuing to engage in culturally relevant ways with our consumers, and just trying to make people as comfortable as possible as they are in their sweats at home.
Right. Well, thank you again. And I'll go to the Q&A. The first questions coming in is, what is your brand currently changing in terms of your in-store and e-com strategies?
So I think I called out the biggest pivot that we did. So launching the buy online, pick up in store and curbside in August was a huge accelerated track for our teams. And again, it's not just about the marketing. The big heavy lift on getting the technology set up for that was a huge effort by our team. So getting to be more omni-channel. I mean, I don't think, even to Brandon's point, when people come, when we get the vaccine and people are able to start to resume whatever the new normal looks like, I think online will continue to be a huge part of that shopping. It's just so convenient, and doing that online experience is one of our big focuses. So how do we keep that experience engaging and fast and easy? But stores are so important too. I think I've seen some research that Gen Zs actually prefer to shop in store. They prefer the experience, and creating an incredible experience at the store level with the product assortment and the way they can interact with the brand is also important. Then I guess the other thing is just how we connect with our consumers too, around just looking at the whole full funnel media mix, how we surround them with the messaging. I mean, we looked at a couple of high level, TV commercials, and sure, those run on TV, but we also did 10 other product videos that were sort of inspired by the TikTok challenge, that drives those categories. We have influencers, we have performance media. That's an incredibly important part of that online productivity. So it's really about, we've got our site and our email. It's about creating that full 360 experience and obsessing over how that all comes together out in the world for our customers. And that's the other big shift for us, is we are doing this all without an ad agency for, I think, maybe the first time in many, many years. When I came on with my creative partner, Len Peltier, we took everything in-house. We wanted to be able to create and sort of control that integrated experience, and really obsess down to the social display banner as much as we, obsess over the TV spot. So kind of a lot of changes.
Wow. Talk to us a little bit of how bringing everything in-house, especially from a creative side.
Yeah, so Len and I we met 10 years ago at Levi's, and we had been at Banana Republic for the past 3.5 years before we transitioned over to Gap. And we just found that, I'm not an anti-agency, I'm just saying that I actually spent the first decade of my career in some of the best agencies in the country. But we found that, just, again, back to that speed, agility, and most importantly, the immersion with the brand, being close to the brand and being close to the product and the product details. So when you think about sending out, 2 emails a day and understanding how to do the storytelling around that product from all these different angles, you have to be pretty immersed. So we just found that it was easier, faster, and in some cases better to do the work ourselves with our team. So, when we came on, we just said to the team, we're the makers now. You are all makers, and you're capable of doing this work, and we're just going to work together to create with audacity and to do it collaboratively. And so we just invited the whole team into the kitchen and we just went after it.
I've seen a lot of growth marketers do that, and it's really interesting to hear how more of a traditional retailer has taken that on. A lot of the D2C brands do that, but it's a different model. So really kudos to you. It's not easy. Last question I think we have for this group is, what trends in consumer behavior are of particular importance to you and marketers now?
Trends in consumer behavior. Well, we have a very interesting customer segmentation that we've done. And so one of the trends in Gap is just how do we continue to build that customer relationship and marketing around that to bring people into the brand and then retain them for long periods of time. So our new parents are a really incredible part of our efforts. So you see women come in through maternity, and then they have baby, and then we have kids, and then keeping them into that life cycle is one of the trends we're looking at. There's bets out on whether there's going to be a COVID baby boom, so we're waiting to see how that all works out in January and February. But just watching the population dynamics of Gen Y and that whole new parent dynamic, and then the upcoming Gen Z as well, we're keeping a close eye on in terms of you launched a teen campaign this summer in the middle of the pandemic, gave birth to a teen campaign. And just looking at how that younger generation incorporates personal style into the way they dress, and being able to offer that right product is another key part of it. So yeah, that life cycle, looking at the population dynamics, and then again, the omni-channel view of how people are using each channel.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And I believe we may be getting kicked off. Here comes James to let us know our time is done. And thank you.
Great. Thank you both. Yeah, I think Brand Innovators is using me as a virtual hook as we're coming up on time. I just, some things that resonated with me is one, Mary, how much you've had to do this year. I mean, you covered so much about creative, about trying to find organic moments, about aligning yourself with not only influence, but also art in many ways, to omni-channel, to completely new logistics systems. It's been a year of disruption, I think, for most businesses, and frankly, a massive acceleration in terms of what the future of Gap looks like. So thank you very much. It was a great session. Okay, so next up, I'm going to be bringing up